So I'm sure you've heard that Microsoft is interested in even more studio acquisitions, even after Activision Blizzard King acquisition. So who is going to be next? Let's look into this. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So Microsoft is still working hard on closing that Activision Blizzard King deal, and it looks like this deal will go through. Looks like European Union, European Commission really, and CMA are quite okay with that deal going through. Microsoft still needs to work with FTC a little bit longer, I guess, because they are still opposing the deal. Well, same as Sony really, but that's not really going to change really. But either way, sooner or later, looks like this deal is going through okay. So the real question now, or should I say after that deal going through, who's going to be next? Because there's no doubt in my mind that Microsoft is still interested in buying more studios, maybe even publishers in the future. And it's not even only my mind imagining things. I'm actually saying that because Microsoft CEOs like Satya Nadella, or even Xbox CEOs like Phil Spencer and other people, like MaDz, for example, did say in the past, even after Activision Blizzard deal, not going through yet, but when they announced that they want to buy Activision Blizzard, so even after that announcement, they did still say that after that deal going through, they are still going to be looking for more studios. They were rather focusing on acquisitions per se. They did not say whether they would be more interested in publishers or studios, but I would imagine that for now they would be probably looking for some studios, if anything, because at the end of the day, after spending like $8 billion on ZeniMax and Bethesda, and now, hopefully soon, 68.7 billion I think billion dollars on Activision Blizzard King. They will be probably looking at some smaller purchases, although I would not be surprised if a good deal arises somewhere, just like with Activision Blizzard. Microsoft did not plan to buy Activision Blizzard at first. Like it was just Bobby Kotick came to Microsoft and said, "Listen, I'm selling my company. You want to buy it?" And Microsoft said, "Hell yeah! Why don't we try to do that?" Right? So, unless such another deal opportunity would arise, I think they will be focusing more on like smaller studios, and it kind of makes sense really, because I guess it's easier to buy such studios, and I guess it's also easier to integrate smaller studios and I guess work with them as well, because if you really think about Xbox game studios, and on top, like Bethesda is really a separate thing. Even if you look at like marketing and stuff, like they do their own thing really. Even though they are all under Xbox umbrella, they still kept their own identity, right? Like even if you look at that, E3 kind of show that they are planning, for example, very soon. Like I think it's called like Xbox and Bethesda Showcase, right? At least that's what they called it last year, I think. So like Bethesda still keeps their own identity, and I think that will be the same for Activision Blizzard and King, especially that a lot of these games from Activision Blizzard will still be multi-platform, so they will be related to Xbox, of course, and Xbox will control these IPs. But a lot of them will be multi-platform anyway. So so another reason why I think they will focus more on like smaller studios is that I don't necessarily believe that even Bethesda has been fully integrated into Xbox ecosystem fully. Listen, that's just my opinion, of course, and like Bethesda, ZeniMax Bethesda as a publisher is a huge company, and they still kind of, I guess they are still working out. They are working on some procedures and stuff. Like, even if you look at the marketing, like Bethesda Xbox marketing, they just do their own separate things. They don't even synchronize sometimes. It feels like the latest announcements when it comes to like Ghostwire Tokyo. I guess there wasn't really much of marketing for that game because it was a PlayStation exclusive for a year anyway. But like, even with Redfall, looks like Xbox marketing does their own thing and Bethesda marketing does their own thing, right? So, I don't think that they are like fully integrated yet. And on top of that, like I said, Xbox Game Studios are their own separate thing. So Bethesda has their own CEOs and, I guess, senior management, and, Xbox Game Studios, like, Coalition or 343 or Turn 10 or even Ninja Theory, Obsidian. All these studios, individual studios, are all gathered under Xbox Game Studios umbrella, and MaDz is looking after all these studios, of course. So, like, I think that Microsoft, especially after Activision Blizzard King acquisition, once that happens, they will actually need a lot of time to integrate this company into Xbox. And like I said, it's probably going to be just like with Bethesda to a degree. They will sort of stay independent, I guess. Like, obviously Microsoft will say a final decision on like some big crucial business decisions and that kind of stuff. But I think that they will keep their own identity, the separate identity, just like with Bethesda. But still, a lot of procedures will have to be made, and some communication channels and the way they make decisions, the way they report to Xbox CEOs and that kind of stuff, that will probably have to change. Also, remember, guys, Activision Blizzard still has a lot of problems there. I guess Microsoft kind of did agree to some unions and that kind of stuff, but Activision still has problems or of their own when it comes to mismanagement and that kind of stuff. So Xbox will have to actually kind of act on that as well. And also remember, guys, like, Microsoft, or should I say Xbox, if that deal goes through, when that deal goes through, they will have to make some crucial, decisions when it comes to like, some of the IPs, I guess, because like there's been already rumors about like Call of Duty going, changing schedule, like to every other year's kind of release schedule, not every year schedule like it is right now, which hopefully would allow some of the developers working currently only on Call of Duty games to actually create their own projects as well. So that would be kind of cool, and hopefully that would also allow for these Call of Duty games to be more fresh every other year, not just like every year. Especially that they've got Warzone, which produces a lot of money anyway. So we'll see how that goes. Like, Microsoft will have to make these decisions. Activision Blizzard was a money-making machine, of course, and like Call of Duty was a money-making machine, and that's why they were pushing for Call of Duty so much. But who knows, like when it comes to Xbox, and obviously Xbox is heavily invested in growing Xbox Game Pass. So for Xbox, it could be more beneficial to make Call of Duty every other year release and to focus on some other IPs. So that would actually allow these developers to make some other games, that would actually basically mean that there would be more content in Game Pass, right? So because Call of Duty actually eats up a lot of not only money but also resources, and resources not only in terms of like people working on it, but also money and time and budget and everything, right? So like look at what happened with that studio that worked on these Crash games, right? Like the latest Crash remake games were made by, forgot the name of, Visual Concept, I think, or something like that. I forgot the name of the studio, but even though that these remakes did very well when it comes to money, they were not as astonishing success. They made money, but not enough to keep doing them, I guess. And these developers were moved to work on Diablo 4, for example, right? So that type of decisions are kind of sad sometimes, and hopefully Microsoft will make some other decisions when it comes to some of these studios. And listen, like they've got a lot of talented studios there, like studios that back in the days used to work on their own projects, and like Raven Software, for example, they made so many great FPS games in the past on PC, and now all they do is just Call of Duty, for example, right? So a lot of these very creative independent studios back in the days were actually turned into Call of Duty support studios, basically, right? Which is sad to see, unfortunately. But the only problem here is that like Microsoft, I guess, has their own management problems now, at least with some studios. So hopefully that will, like the whole situation with 343, for example, hopefully that will teach them a lesson and to actually react and be more in tune with what's going on in these studios. I don't know, like I've seen some people calling out Microsoft for bad management and stuff, and I guess like they've got a point there, like especially with 343, for example. So we'll see how that goes, basically. But like Microsoft is growing very fast. They just keep adding these studios, and after Activision Blizzard King acquisition, they will have even more studios under their umbrella. So that's going to be even more people to look after and kind of manage, I guess. And so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, looking forward to see what what kind of studios Microsoft will actually purchase after that Xbox, that Activision Blizzard deal acquisition. And looking forward, hopefully they will buy some like very talented smaller studios, because I like these smaller games as well. A good example is like Plague's Tale, for example, right? So the developers of that game, they are independent studio. They have ties with Focus Entertainment, for example. But why not buy them and turn them into first-party Xbox studio? They are very talented, and they make these games, like they release these games every 2-3 years. So we need these type of smaller but still great games too. Like Plague's Tale or Requiem was a fantastic game, even better than the first one, right? So IO Interactive may be on sale, who knows, right? So like these smaller studios, so we'll see how that goes. So guys, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, let me know in the comment section below what you think about it. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care.